Everybody, Jamie Pate here. Welcome to this video. Today is a continuing series called Daily Journal. And in today's show, did you hear what I just said there? I said show. That's hilarious. In today's video, I'm going to talk. I have some new things to share with you, and I think some new things to talk about as well. So let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about today is Daily Journal and a reminder of what that is. There is a previous video where I show you how I actually am constructing what I call my daily journal. And for the most part, a daily journal is where I keep my daily notes. It's everything from a schedule, kind of a rough schedule. It's nothing beautiful. It's not a planner. It's a journal. It's keeping notes of a kind of running nature of what's going on. And then on this side, I literally keep notes. So I want to say really quick, I'm under the influence of Bob Goff, who is very much about, he's a great storyteller, number one, but he can be seen to be in a conversation with a person and pull out a notebook and start writing notes. It's because he doesn't want to forget whatever that conversation was at that moment in time. And I really came under that thought. So this is something that I carry with me everywhere. So I have this journal cover here. It's by Prima. This one in particular, I cannot find a source for it. There are some other similar journals, and I will source those in the description. But the basic thing, I mean, you could throw this in your bag if you need to. It might look a little tattered by the end of the month, but you could do that. And so what goes on is it's filled with papers. And I will show you what that looks like blank here in a moment. But it's keeping notes like I wrote the word shine because first thing in the morning message on my mind. The first thing in the morning that came to mind was shine. And so when I got up and got around and got my coffee and started making, having morning time, I wrote that down. 5:30, bird song, because I heard birds singing. I wrote the note, loved Heidi's April at a glance, her video for Stop the Blur. I love that so much. I wrote it down. Coffee with Jessica, and I did a very, very poor illustration here of a coffee cup. And we took a photo. It's that kind of stuff. It is not earth-shattering. It's just notes. So that's what a daily journal is. So today I want to start by adding to my cover. Now I am using Heidi Swapp's Color Collective for my cover. And I love this ledger paper. And then it's solid on the other side and just very, very on trend. I mean, it's supposed to match her Color Collective, right? And then the paper that I'm using is a smooth white. It's not my favoriteest paper. I don't have my favoriteest paper. I like to use a dot grid, but for now I'm making this work. And when I get the things inserted in here that I want, I will then use a long reach stapler and bind this together. But in the meantime, I'm going to be using the Heidi Swapp April Stop, not Stop the Blur, Stop the Stamp, or Stop the Society. It's Stamp Society, to just create a little bit of a interest on my cover. And I go right on the cover. This time I thought I'd take this because I like this ledger piece so much, and I'm going to add to that. So watch while I just add some stamping interest to my cover. Grabbing several oxides, which I'll have listed. I've enjoyed discovering palettes to use with the Stamp Society, and so Victorian Velvet, yes, is one of my most favorite colors, and it's going to start off. I don't know how to quite explain how my brain works when it comes to collaging these elements. This is a very elemental stamp set. I just go for it, and that might be frustrating, I guess, if someone is kind of looking for like the how-to behind it. It's just practice and play and make mistakes and discover, oh, I like how that looks. So again, I am using the Misty stamp platform just because it is the cover, and I wanted to make sure, like here I was adding in on that burst, like extra color. And so that is my thinking there. I just want to make sure my stamping is bold. I love stamping on this foam piece inside of it. So I've grabbed a stamp. So I've grabbed a stamp block to add by hand some of the color. And then just kind of finishing up with these arrows and getting them in place. And that's kind of all there is. Like I said, I'm starting to really enjoy using Stamp Society on that month's cover of my daily journal. And whether you do it by hand or do it with a stamp block, it's going to look awesome and just the way you want it to look. So that's my chat about that. I've enjoyed using Stamp Society kind of as a way to keep record of what that month's Stamp Society was. We're going into May, but it was April 15th, so it'll be the rest of until May 15th. But, and just because I really love the Stamp Society so much, I just love the graphics. Anyway, so the next thing I'm going to do now is date my pages. I started doing this year when I started sharing this here on the channel, and I'm really loving doing this. Now, one of the things about dating my pages is I have not got discovered, if you will, how I really want to go about a consistent dating of my pages. I've done a couple different things, and you can see that on those other videos. This month, I'm going to do two things. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm doing three things. First thing I'm going to do, I was going to try the Brooklyn Lower Solid. There's a numbers that are included with the stamp set. I'm going to try that. Second thing I'm going to try is just stick with black. And I have Black Soot Distress Oxide. I wish I had just the Distress, but I don't. So we're going to make this work. Hence, then the third thing, the stamping platform, the larger one, because I have larger pages and I don't want them to get all wrinkled up. And so at this point, we will just commence with the stamping, where I'm just going to go and stick still here to the top. Like all that noise there. And in this top right corner, that's a left corner, in this top left corner, and just add my dates in there. Okay, there isn't anything terribly special about adding the dates to your pages. As a matter of fact, it might sound like it's just a real slow process. And actually, I'm kind of here for it. This is a slowdown because it takes a minute to get 31 days stamped, especially when I'm using single stamps, right? I don't have the stamps that are the double digits, the 22s, the 24s. I have to, you'll see here, well, the 10. 10's a great example where I'm going to have to now come in, and when I add my 11, I'm going to do it one piece at a time. Once I get my 11 in, then my 1 just stays there, and I add the 2, 3, 4, 5. You get the idea. So it's okay to slow down and enjoy a process. There's a bit of a rhythmic kind of vibe here, if you will, to just taking some time and getting dates on a page. The real thing for me is already having them in there. My month is set and done by the time I get to May, which starts here pretty soon. It's just already in there and ready to go, and I don't have to be fiddling around with that every day. Okay, another new thing that I wanted to share in this video this week was I love the whole idea of currently. I used to be pretty good on my Instagram about recording currently. I think it is a fantastic way to take notes and to have a little personal history. These kinds of prompts, these are great prompts. And that's another suggestion too. Find stamps that are prompts. And like, there's so many, right? Just an idea can create a story, which you can then take these stories from these journals, whether they end up in your memory planner or they end up in a scrapbook, traditional scrapbook. This is just a fantastic way to keep notes on your life and to practice being aware of the stories happening around you, being aware of what's the picture that I want to take that represents this. It really unpacks our life in a whole different way. And maybe that's even a longer video for another time. So when I found these currently, I was like, yes, I want that. And you can see here, I've created one already. I'm going to show you how I do that. It's super simple. I'm only going to make 4 for the month because I want to do currently Thursday. I don't know. That's what everybody else does, and I'm just jumping on the bandwagon here. So let me show you how this came together. This particular card, I went ahead. I'm using Vicky Bouton Foundations paper. It's a nice weight cardstock, and if you want to do anything creative on it, it just holds all the ink, all the whatever. And then so I took Tattered Rose and an ink blending tool, and I just blended some color around the edges, because the other thing I was thinking as well, not only will I probably, I know I will have this in my book, but I'm going to, actually I think the first Thursday is a 5th, I'll clip it in here, and then I can pull it out and put it in my memory planner if I wanna. So here's to keeping a personal history and doing it through a currently prompt. Okay, I've already talked about how much I love the whole currently idea. And so these stamps are really cool. And I don't mean to just be gushing about them, but I loved, for one thing, the handwritten currently. There's also a traditional type currently in there as well. I loved how tall each of the prompts were. And I started off a little crooked here in my reading, but as I added these in, it kind of looks like it straightened up. It didn't. It's still crooked. Hence the stamp platform for this. And these stamps are like, each of them are like these little tiny rectangles. So I was able to line them up there, like I showed you, right on the edge. And so for the most part, the stamping was pretty accurate. And then to be able to come in a couple times here with the Misty and make sure that the ink was a good solid image instead of just the best I could be. So it doesn't matter to me whether you do it by hand or whether you do it this way. No matter what you're stamping, it's stamping. It has its own imperfections, right? That's part of it. It's part of what we embrace. So I think I am so going to love this, which I think I talk about even more in the video. All right, I think I'm going to love this so much. I think it's just going to be great. I already have these made up. Again, I'm going to make several of them and just have them at the ready. And then they will prompt me as I open to that page in this month in my daily journal. So I like adding new things every month. This is my new thing this month, and I think it's going to go well. I'll let you know for sure next month. So thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope the ideas behind note-taking and jotting thoughts down, I hope you understand it's not about creating the world's greatest story, although our own personal stories are our great stories, right? But it's about remembering them and a place to remember them, and then how this is a jumping block into your memory planners or your scrapbook pages or both. So thank you so much for watching this video again. I appreciate you all being here and your kindness all the time. If you have found value in this video, please give me a thumbs up. I'd love that. Let me know any questions you may have. All supplies are listed in the description, plus links to additional videos, and I will see you in the next video.